Welcome back. For many of us, the prospect of living with our parents after high school was like unheard of, but now moving out might be a pipe dream. According to Maclean's, 46% of all 20-somethings lived with a parent in 2021. That's up significantly from 30 years ago. So, Carly, do you think that milestone moving out as a milestone is a thing of the past?
I don't know. I definitely think owning property is exactly. Thank you. It's a one bad yeah. Yeah, I think owning property is definitely of the past. I will say, like, if it's in 2021, a lot of people moved back home with their parents during the pandemic. True. Because the cost of living is incredibly high and you weren't seeing anyone. I live by myself, but I moved back home in 2021 to live with my parents. I don't know how people still live with their parents because I wanted to kill them when I lived with them. Like, I love them. Our relationship is very good, but when you live with anybody, it drives you insane. But there is, like, I do know a couple people who still live with their parents who are my age. And while it's not for me, it has happened in different cultures, like, continuously. You have several generations living under one roof, and less like parent-child, more like roommates. Like, you know, they're contributing to the house.
Yeah. I can see the advantages of that, like, especially for childcare.
You'd want that?
And I kind of have that. My mother-in-law lives next door. Like, so there is that kind of sense of, if we have to go out at the last minute, we have a built-in babysitter system. And I think that we've lost that a little bit in this nuclear family kind of like separate homes kind of thing. But that's a different issue than I think what we're talking about here. Like, for me, I know when I was growing up, all I wanted to do was move out. As soon as I hit 16, I was like, get me the heck out of here. And I think that was a generational thing because there were so many rules. Like, I had too many rules in my house. I love my parents.
But also, we went away to school, I think. Did you go away to school?
Yeah, I went away to school. I did too, but it was like there was a point where I will never move back because that's their home. I don't think my son will have the same thing because I'm too nice. I'm too fun.
Also, it's not affordable. It's not affordable. I feel really bad. I remember we grew up in a time where I remember a person could have an hourly wage job working in a factory and think about buying a house and taking care of a family. Now I know people who are university educated, have full-time jobs as a couple, and they cannot afford as a couple to buy their first home. That to me is so frustrating, and I know that if you work really hard, if you're looking like, I've worked so hard, I've, have this education, I have this job, and I can't even buy my first home, I can't imagine that kind of frustration, because one of the things that I love was I bought my first home by myself, because I was able to buy it at the time. It's great, but now I think I'm like, the version of me today could never do that. I would be in my parents' basement forever. But then I was listening to Malcolm Gladwell, and he gave some great advice. He said, if you're a young person, what you need to do is move away from home. Immediately. There'll be enough time where you'll need to be close to your parents as they get older. Find somewhere that is affordable to live and go start your life. Go for all those adventures. Do something else. Don't think that you have to have this carbon copy life that your parents did. You don't have to stay in the same city. You can move to another country. You're going to be just fine. You got a good education. You're Canadian. You'll be fine. And I'm like, maybe they have to look at it differently. Not like I can't afford, but maybe like I have to chart a different course.
Definitely. And
right?
I don't mean to be glib about this, but like there are roommates. Did anyone else have roommates?
Yes.
Like I had between 3 and 5 roommates for a very long time.
I know, but
for
the rent,
affordability.
The rent for one bedroom is $3,000.
When I moved out,
how many people are in that one bedroom?
But no, that's why you don't rent out one bedroom. You get a place, like we used to rent a place with 2 to 3 bedrooms and we'd split it 5 ways.
Here's what I will say. I agree.
And I feel like young people, there are some of them who don't want that, and so they spend 50 to 60% of their income on a 1 bedroom.
I will say, when I moved out for the second time, when I was done being in the university dorm and I moved into a house with 4 girls, we moved into Kensington Market, which is famously quite a cheap place to live. And my parents had lived there when they were living in Toronto. My mom was like, well, how much could your rent be? Is it like $600? And I was like,
so cute.
No, but I'm going to poke at that a little bit.
I had no window.
Okay. That is like a hot area of the city now. It is right central downtown. Whereas I live in the on the border of like outside of the city, because that was all we could afford. Like I can't tell you how many people I was talking to at that time when I bought my house. It was like all we could afford, and they were like, "Why are you moving there? Like I would never live there." And there's a real thing in this city, at least. I don't know about
Cynthia,
all cities.
I love what you're saying, because when I had friends do what you did, I was the person who was saying, like when I was around 35 or 40, being like, "Oh, must be nice to be able to buy a house." They were not going on vacation. Sometimes they moved back home with their parents. They were moving to different cities if they could, or undesirable neighborhoods. And now I have people doing that to me, and I'm kind of like, well, I was 47 when I did it, and I moved outside of the city. So like, it is possible. Do you know what I mean?
But even outside of the city is now getting expensive.
Yes.
Because everybody's moving outside of the city.
I'm telling you, their house is going for $399 in Hamilton right now. Come and join me.
There you go. Also, in Brandon, Manitoba, I want to do a shout out.
Oh my God, that's where my boyfriend is from.
The average house price is $265,000.
Here's what I'll say. I've been to Brandon. That makes sense.
There are other locations. I'm just saying there. But Carly, we love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.